In today's video, I'll be finally testing out some inexpensive art supplies from probably the most popular children's art supply company, Crayola. I bought 4 different products so we can both test out a couple of options, and we'll be also able to create a full regular drawing using pretty much all of this. So I got a pack of 36 regular wooden colored pencils. I also have a pack of 16 washable markers. Then I also got a pack of 18 twistables, which are also colored pencils, but just in some fancy twistable packaging, I guess. And then lastly, I got 10 erasable colored pencils, which I think might be something similar to my favorite Prismacolor Col Erase, so that was pretty much the only factor that made me buy them. And now let's quickly swatch all of those supplies so we know what we're gonna work with. First off, the colored pencils. First impression, they seem quite alright, maybe not extremely pigmented, but definitely something that could be at least decent to work with. The color variety for only 36 pieces is also quite good. We have some skin tone options, so I'm already quite relieved. Next, the twistables. Right off the bat, they seem quite cheap and wonky in my opinion, and their pigment was quite inconsistent compared to the wooden pencils we just swatched. Also, the color selection is not the best when it comes to my personal preference. Now the erasable pencils, something that I'm probably most excited about. They seem quite fine and you can erase them totally, which is honestly cool, but their pigment is quite crumbly once you try to actually draw something, which might be quite annoying in the long run. And lastly, the markers. They're honestly quite cute because they are just so tiny and so compact, but I'm afraid that these really won't fulfill my marker needs, let's say. I guess that they are probably water-based since they are washable like it says on the packaging, so I'm just worried they will be quite streaky. However, at least the color selection for only 16 pieces is honestly not that bad. So I started off with the erasable pencils like I would always start with my Prismacolors. And honestly, those Crayola pencils are not terrible and they kind of do their job, but the worst problem with them is that their pigment crumbles quite a lot, so it leaves your sketch quite textured and inconsistent, and the lines are not as smooth as they should be, which is quite an obstacle at the very beginning of the drawing process. But despite that, I kind of managed to sketch with them, but it definitely wasn't an enjoyable experience. And just after I did the sketch with the erasable pencils, I went in with the mechanical pencil and outlined everything once more like I always do. And here's the moment when everything started to go downhill. Once I started coloring in my sketch, I thought that even though I'm not really enjoying the drawing process with those supplies, I can still push through and maybe everything will look good eventually at the end of the process. But well, it definitely didn't. So well, this is what this drawing looks like once I finished it, and I actually really don't like it. But well, I still have some motivation left, so I kind of want to try to do something else with those pencils and with those supplies, just basically draw something again. So I think I'm gonna need a little break right now, and I'll be right back. So here we go again with a new sketch. Told by experience, I didn't use the erasable pencils this time just to save myself some struggle. And honestly, I love this sketch so much more than the previous one, so I really hope that the coloring won't ruin it. So now let me just quickly outline it and I'll be right back. So now it's time for the markers. I'm being extremely cautious with them and I'm trying to be quite fast to avoid the streakiness already taught by experience from the last piece. And even though I'm really trying to be precise here, it already looks kind of bad, let's be honest. But I still have high hopes that I can fix all of that with colored pencils. Also, this time I really wanted to go for a different skin tone, but the only other option I had was either super bright yellow shade or dark brown, so I thought that this color would be still the most fitted for my today's drawing. So now that I'm left with a quite streaky coloring, I just pray that those colored pencils will save the day and that they will cover up all this mess. And I actually found 3 colors that complement my today's drawing's skin shade, so I'm quite relieved at this point, and that was definitely a huge plus. And honestly, those pencils do work, and I am able to create somewhat of a skin shading with them, but is it anything surprising or extraordinary? Definitely no. And also, please don't get me wrong here, I'm speaking from a perspective of a person that has tested out multiple supplies and multiple colored pencils. So I do know what kind of quality I can expect from each art supply of each price range. I've tested quite many cheap colored pencils, and I think for this price point you can get a better quality than these. And coloring hair was actually quite pleasant for me, because I didn't need to layer up those pencils, I was just working with one black pencil. And I also used one of the smoothest paper I have in my collection, the SMLT Smooth Bristol pad, so the pencil in fact glided very well on it. However, while using this black pencil, I noticed that it's not 100% pigmented in comparison to, for example, my Faber-Castell Polychromos black pencil. So that's just another thing to think about. And lastly, I just finished up this drawing. I colored her top and the background. And with this second attempt, I was really trying to do my best and make this drawing as good as I possibly can. So well, today's challenge was quite a struggle for me. I still tried to push through and make something that would be at least decent, and I think I actually managed to do that. So well, let me know what are your thoughts on Crayola, have you ever tried it, or are you planning to after my today's review, let's say. And well, that would be pretty much all for my today's cheap art supplies challenge. I really hope that you guys enjoyed it, and well, thank you so much for watching my today's video. I love you all and I can't wait to see you in my next videos. Take care, bye!
I'm just going with the gut, never had a doubt, felt like this is just a must. Put me in perspective, I'm the deepest in the cut. Everybody tuning in, but this is just for us now.